And welcome back to another installment of Cafe Lily, where your hosts, Rosa and Kelsey. How are you today?
Thank you, Rosa. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. It's great to catch up with you. I'm excited to revisit some old favorites of ours today.
Same here, same here. But let's warn the audience now, another least favorite came back.
Yeah, we're kind of saving that for the end. We're saving our usual segment for the end.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that eventually. We decided that it's time to go back and revisit some of the Yuri comics that we said that we were going to read more of and then didn't follow up on.
Which we are doing now.
Would you like to start then?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so I went back and read Ayaka is in Love with Hiroko, a manga webcomic by Jiang.
This was a good one.
This is a good one. So this started with, in the company, there's this woman named Ayaka who is in love with her senpai, Hiroko. Now, Hiroko has been known as a serial womanizer outside of work. And here comes Ayaka, who is flaunting herself everywhere towards Hiroko because Ayaka wants her. Now, last where I left off, Hiroko was having difficulties trying to comprehend the fact that Ayaka wants to be with her.
I gotta know where this goes because I read the beginning of this one last time with you. There's so much drama.
Oh, yes. So I have finished the entire series.
Ooh.
Yeah, unfortunately for Ayaka, Hiroko just doesn't take the hint.
Aww.
And because of that, one of Ayaka's friend and coworker, Rise, comes to her and tells her, "We don't have to date now, but I want to be with you."
Oh, that's sweet. I remember that character.
Yeah, she's very sweet. They spend time together, but Ayaka couldn't recuperate her feelings. And this makes Rise mad at Hiroko because she goes to her like, "You ignore her feelings. You're ignoring the feelings of one I love, and you don't even give her a chance." And Hiroko eventually takes a hint.
Oh, good, finally.
Right. Yeah, finally.
It's about time.
So we learn that Hiroko is very private, or wants to be private about people knowing she's a lesbian in her company. And we actually go into depth about why that happens. So, at the lesbian bar, they told Ayaka and Rise about what happened years ago in the company. When Hiroko was starting out, she had a mentor named Chinatsu, and they got very close together. But this eventually spread rumors about how people were saying, "Oh, Hiroko was sleeping around to get herself further in the company."
Oh, no.
And it got so much that Chinatsu decided, for the sake of Hiroko, she had to leave the company. So, because of this fact, Ayaka decided to make a really bold decision. She goes to work and tells everyone that she is in love with Hiroko. She says she is in love. She doesn't say Hiroko likes women or anything. She just says, "I am in love with Hiroko."
Oh, no.
Now, everyone was happy. They were supportive of her. And there was one guy that says, "I am also in love with Hiroko."
Come on. This has nothing to do with you.
I know, but he decided, "I will be your rival." He doesn't win, of course. Ayaka could care less. What she cares is that she wants to be able to pursue Hiroko.
Well, you know what? Good on her for putting herself out there.
Eventually, with the support of everyone, especially their two co-workers in the office, and Rise, they get together. Hiroko learns to move past what happened in the past, and is able to accept being with Ayaka, accepting her love and everything, and they get together.
That's good. I'm glad they get together. I'm glad that it worked out for them in the end. I do think it's funny that Hiroko stayed oblivious throughout the entire time, to the point that Ayaka had to take drastic measures.
And she really did want to be taken seriously as a romantic interest for Hiroko. So yeah, it was a fun read. I recommend it. I love Fail Women. So, you wanted to talk about a manga you went back to read.
Yes, I went back and read more of Run Away With Me Girl.
Ooh.
Which I read the first volume of in a previous episode. It's by Battan, and yeah, just quick recap of what I mentioned last time. It's about a woman named Maki who meets back up with her high school girlfriend who is now getting married to a man, and this ex-girlfriend, Midori, her husband's actually pretty abusive, and she doesn't want to be with him, but she feels like she doesn't have a choice because she's pregnant with his child. And Maki says to Midori, "Run away with me, I'll get you out of here." And that's pretty much where the first volume ends. So the next two are about the running away that they do.
What measures did they took?
So Maki has an internet friend, a bestie that she met on Twitter.
As we all do.
Yeah, as we all do. And she tells her about what's happening. And her friend Komari says, "Oh, come stay with me and my family. We live like pretty regional, so it's far away. And we have enough room for you two to stay. So just come on over and stay here while you're figuring things out." And so they do. They get on the train and they go. Komari, Maki's Twitter bestie, is actually in high school.
Oh my god. That's insane.
Yeah, I think it's sweet. I mean...
It's sweet, but it's also insane. It's like... I appreciate my kid. Yeah, this is kind of a lot.
It's really funny, though. Her parents are, like, completely down for it. It's like, oh yeah, bring your friend over.
Bring your friend over, and then there's, like, two older women, one of them is, like, pregnant.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, for some reason, it gets me thinking of, like, that one image of, like, Lois Griffin crying to Stewie, and then someone captioned it as people in their mid-20s venting to a 14-year-old.
I mean, yeah, it is a little bit that, but it's like...
Yeah.
They have this intergenerational lesbian friendship, and they talk to each other about and give each other advice on the lesbian issues that they face in their lives.
So, like, different generations.
Yeah, they are. Komari's in high school, and she's a photographer. She takes all these beautiful photos. She isn't out as a lesbian, and she is dating a boy.
Ew.
Who she is not interested in, just to sort of make people think that she's straight, kind of.
Oh.
So she's in a little bit of a situation herself, and she needs to overcome that throughout the story, because that's what happens.
I was gonna ask, like, how does the tension go about in these next two volumes?
Yeah, it's... I don't know, I won't go into too much detail, because I feel like it's kind of the sort of thing where you have to read it. But yeah, it's really interesting seeing Maki and Midori sort of get back together and fall in love again over time. They thought that the reality of life was that they can't be with each other into adulthood, but they realized that they can make it work. They can't stay at Komari's family's house forever, they have to go back eventually. So they do go back, and they deal with all the loose ends there. They deal with Midori's impending marriage, and they deal with Midori's workplace. Like, there's some drama that's going on there. Yeah, that was interesting too. I liked that. And yeah, it ends up being a happy ending, and I appreciated that. And then, interestingly, there's an epilogue which is set some years later, after Midori's child has grown up a bit and is a teenager.
Aww.
And that was probably my favorite part of the whole thing. That was just... It was really sweet. They're still in touch with Komari. She's like an auntie to the child. I thought it was so sweet. I loved it. I think it's a a read that's worth your time.
I definitely gotta start reading this. Also, I just wanted to say, good to know one of them is wearing a shirt that saying, "I'm not the stepdad, I'm the dad that stepped up."
Yeah, she is. Maki's the dad that stepped up.
Maybe I'll read it tonight or tomorrow. But for sure I need to put a schedule on that. Put that on the whiteboard.
Okay, I'll put it on the whiteboard.
No, don't. I gotta read this tonight.
Please do, let me know what you think.
It's gonna be like me going insane. Like I haven't before, but still.
When you go insane reading Yuri, that's like the highlight of my Discord messages.
I mean, I have a lot to say. I mean, you should have seen me when I was reading Jaeon and Ah Young.
You were sending me updates through the entire thing.
Of course, how couldn't I?
You sent me a voice memo that was just you crying.
I did?
He sent me a voice memo that was like...
Okay. Now, the thing is, I do that a lot. I've done it for our last news, too.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I look forward to checking out Runaway with Meat Girl.
Yes, let's not skip ahead. Let's talk about your next manga that you read more of, which was Doughnuts Under a Crescent Moon.
Donut Under a Crescent Moon is a manga by Soy Usui. Now, last time, I read the first 3 chapters, and the plot is, basically, Una Hinako is dealing with a lot of with issues with herself, with loving herself, thinking lowly of herself, wondering if she ever really deserves to be loved or should be loved, and it's just trying to fit in within like societal expectations, then like trying to find like a boyfriend to get married and have kids because that's what they expected of her. Until one night on her way home, she was upset that she messed up at work when she met her co-worker Sato, who saw her crying and went in and comforted her and shared a donut with her and told her, "Yeah, you did a really good job at work today. Don't worry, you make little mistakes. It's okay. Every once in a while we do." And from there, she slowly helps Uno learn to love herself, to appreciate herself, and to appreciate people around her.
Yeah, I read the first volume of this one, and I thought it was sweet, but I didn't know where it would go from there, so I'm curious what happens.
So I'm about 2 volumes in, and it's very interesting. Now, as we learn about Uno's issues, we then learn about Ashi's issues. For the most part, Ashi is mostly put together, but she has one issue. Well, I wouldn't say an issue, but she lives with her sister, and she takes care of her ever since her grandmother passed away.
Okay, like a younger sister?
Yeah, a young teenage sister.
Right.
Her name is Sabaru.
Okay.
Now, she's the younger teenage sister of Ashi, and she's very forward about telling Ashi to go out and make some friends, or to have fun, and to spend time with Hinako, and to invite her over. She pushed her to spend more time with her. She even teases her about like, "Oh, you talk about her a lot. Ooh, do you love her? Ooh, ooh, ooh."
This teenage teasing.
Yeah. And she had a moment with Hinako and tells her, "Hey, I need you to help my sister be free from me." And it's very interesting of her to say that. And you kind of just reveal that since the death of her family, she has been committed to taking care of her sister. And what Subaru wants is for her sister to learn that, like, hey, it's okay. I'm gonna be alright. You can still take care of me, but I'd like you to have your own life too. So these two slowly develop a relationship. And Una's slowly trying to learn about her feelings, what it means to not only love herself, but to love another, to understand what his romantic feelings are, which is very sweet. It's nice to see her learn to grow as a person, to grow socially, and to understand her emotion. What was very nice of Ashi is that she pointed out how Hinako loves to put on makeup, And Hinako said, no, it was mostly just me using it to find a boyfriend and a husband. When it actually said, well, in spite of that, you're very happy doing it. You're happy painting my nails, and you put a lot into it, and you seem very happy, like, buying yourself more of these stuff, the stuff you like. And it helps Naka recontextualize, like, what it really meant for her to, like, use makeup to use it for herself. Like, a lot of times it ends up being more nicer for her, and she learns that, like, hey, this is something more for me than anyone else. Sweet.
Oh, wow, that's an interesting topic for a Yuri manga to cover.
Yeah. And we kind of end around close to cliffhanger. Well, I wouldn't say cliffhanger, but in the end of the second volume, we meet another character, an old friend of Ashi. Her name is Fuka. They were very close friends back in high school. But Fuka will reveal that she is in love with Ashi.
Ooh.
And I look forward towards volume 3.
Yeah, gotta find out what happens next.
I really love this manga. I really love the development of this character, of Hinaka trying to learn her own self-worth, to learn to love herself.
Yeah, I might go back and give this one a second chance. I don't know. I felt like I wasn't sure where it would go from where it left off at the end of volume 1, but it seems like there's a broad set of topics that it covers. Yeah. It seems kind of slice of lifey, but also a lot of good character work as well.
Yeah, there's a lot more sprinkles on this donut.
How long were you waiting to say that?
I'm not telling you.
Okay. It's about time that we talk about it. Are you ready?
Yep. Everyone, it's time for us to talk about Otona Precure.
Precure Full Bloom.
Full Bloom. We have another Sakimai episode in Otona Precure. Now, let me tell you, this is the last Otona Precure episode I watched. I have not watched anything else since the original Sakimai episode.
Now, critically, the Among Us twins did show up in person. I said that I would watch the show if they did that, and I'm sorry to report that I lied. I'm still not going to watch the show.
No, fair enough. Now, a lot has happened in the Otona Precure for the Yes 5, and all I gotta say is, okay.
It's not what we're here for.
I have not seen Yes 5, and I'm not sure if I want to tackle it.
I don't think either of us are big Yes 5 fans.
No. 2 seasons and Coco.
Coco is in flames. We don't need to worry about that right now.
Alright, good. So, Otona Precure had another Sakimai episode. Now, it's specifically to deal with Saki's issues. Unfortunately, everyone, minions, Saki does not get a divorce.
Well, we held out hope, but what is the path of a Yuri fan if not being disappointed?
Yeah. So, what is the issue that Saki's going through?
Yeah, you tell me, because I haven't seen it.
Well, Saki is very proud of her breaking abilities, but she feels like she could do better, and she has hopes of, at least ideas of, wanting to go to France to take a course. But she feels she's too tied down to her responsibility as an adult to take over her family store, to let her dad go and take an apprenticeship learning more baking skills. And she is tied down to her marriage.
And all I can say to that is, she doesn't have to be. Like, that last one is optional.
Yeah. We all said that. Now, this is an interesting concept, a good premise. Wanting to pursue more for yourself, for your career, and to further better yourself. But fear of, like, not wanting to leave your adult responsibilities. And as we go through, Mai notices, of course she would, that Saki isn't feeling too well. Now, one thing I want to say is, I wish Saki just forgot that ring in general. But yeah, Mai took notice of, like, Saki's mood. She knows that she's been feeling down, and there's more to how she's feeling. And eventually, one night, while Saki was trying to figure out how she could make her batch of bread better, she looked at the course to France. thinking about it again. She then receives a text from that some guy saying, "Oh, we gotta get ready for our wedding and stuff, the wedding ceremony and stuff." And like, God, go away.
Yeah, come on, she's having a moment here.
Yeah, she's having a moment. Leave her alone. You don't even have a face, some guy. Literally, he does not have a face.
So we don't see him still?
We see he has a physical form, but not a face. And the most we can call him is just some nickname. And I think he was dressed the same for every scene he was in the flashback. He only ever showed up in the flashback. Now, next day, Saki and I meet up. Now, hold on. Now, let me tell you before this. Saki and I were hanging out. They were even talking about hanging out some more. How Saki said, "Hey, I want to show you more places where they have like really good baking good baked goods and stuff." This woman is just like planning to just hang out with my like 95% of the time.
Oh no. Oh, Saki. What have you done? What have you gotten yourself into?
Right. But yes, so the next day, Saki and I meet up in the tree of life, where it all started back in Splash Star. And Saki confronted Mike confronted Saki, tell her, Saki, I understand you have issues, and I know you want to do more with your life, and it's okay. You can do it. And Saki is so reluctant, because she feels that since she's not a kid anymore, she can't pursue her dream and must handle her adult responsibility. While this was happening, there are these business people, these suits, talking about like bulldozing this land, the tree and everything. It's like, oh, we're gonna do this. Like, but wasn't there dangerous stuff going on here? It's like, who cares? And then the danger happens, and the shadow attacked Saki and Mai. It looks like they were going to be cooked until the Among Us twins makes their appearance.
Yeah.
And apparently, they're still capable of using the powers from back in the original series.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they weren't necessarily human, were they? They were like magical beings.
Yeah, magical beings. So they're still capable of like fighting, and declare that they were once dark beings, but who now love life and want to experience and protect it.
Well, good on them. Good on them for showing up at exactly the right time. We love when the day is saved by the Among Us twins.
Of course, we love them. Unfortunately, they were taken down by the shadows. And Saki breaks down, saying she doesn't know what we're gonna do. We can't do this. Mai looks to her and tells her, Saki, take my hand. We can do this together. We can be Precure again. Even though you're not a kid anymore, you're still the same as ever, Saki. You can still do both. They held hands in a moment that looks like a proposal.
Oh, is that what that screen cap was from that everyone kept sending me?
Yeah. And thanks to the time flower from that far kingdom that Coco lives in, whatever.
What, the fart kingdom? Did you say the fart kingdom?
Yeah. They turn back into their teenage self and become Cure Bloom and Cure Egret. And they save the day.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm slipping into hater mode a little bit, but
Fair enough.
this is exactly what I don't like about the whole they transform back into teenagers when they become Precure again thing. It's like, if the message of the episode is meant to be that Saki can still achieve her dreams even though she's not a teenager anymore, and then she turns back into a teenager, isn't that kind of contradictory?
It just feels like the way they're going about it is that, like, what matters to them is the iconography of them in their teenage years.
Yeah, that's what's gonna sell more acrylic
Yeah.
stands at the Precure Pretty store.
But yeah, they were able to save the day. And they gave each other a handshake.
A nice platonic handshake.
Yeah, nice platonic handshake. What, the scene before that was too gay? It's like, this scene is too gay. We gotta make it look a bit platonic. It's like, I don't know, it's too late now. The Kamika twins have made it gay. there was that image artwork today where like it's Saki and Mai, and they're they're doing like a distant heart shaped symbol with their hands, like half heart, but it's distant, and they have their own rings, not wedding rings, but infinitely better than whatever Saki was wearing the entire series. So Saki, with the encouragement of Mai, tells her parents she wants to go to France to continue learning, perfecting her craft, and offered her father an apprenticeship with Kamochi's family.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad that at least that connection's paying off.
Yeah, and the asks her, so how does you-know-who feel about this? So we cut back to a flashback of her. They don't say anything, it's just her like, oh yeah, I told him, and it just shows the guy's face. I think he's still wearing the same thing from the other flashback, while Saki's sitting here dressed nicely like, girl, Mai would treat you better. No, she is treating her better. So like, he's like, oh yeah, go to France. We can still do the marriage and everything. And it's like, oh yeah, he's okay with it. It's like, yeah, I guess. Whatever. But god, this guy means nothing. It feels like the messages could still work out without.
Yeah, the plotline seems to revolve more around Saki's family than her husband. Like, he doesn't even really factor into it at all.
He barely factors. He is a factor, but it's such a... It means nothing compared to her relation with her family. Because ultimately, that's what's going to matter, is her relation with her family. Like, the people are going to sit and see, the people we've seen all season, it's like, yeah, actually, yeah, it says a lot that she's committed to her family.
Does Saki's younger sister show up at all?
No.
Oh, huh.
Yeah, no Minori. But yeah, if you cut out the fiance, you pretty much lose nothing. You still have that premise there of like Saki wanting to take on adult responsibility, and stand alone, the whole family thing just works out. Especially if these are characters we've seen from like the original series. Like, I'm not gonna care about like what's going on with like her fiance, because like we don't see his face or anything, and like he doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, last time I did wonder if they were gonna try and change some things about the story in order to respond to fan reception. And I didn't think that meant they would have Saki and Mai get together. I didn't think they would go that far, but I thought they might downplay his role in the story.
That's what it is. He's so downplay, and I don't think they were gonna change anything with his role, regardless of like fan reception. I think like when we saw that comment about like the future is not set, it's one of many futures, they were kind of already aware that like this probably isn't like an X fact that people would like. I guess this is not a definitive future, but like it's kind of like, if this is their take on the definitive future and this is how they're handling it, it's like, why bother?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how this has gone over with like the casual fans and the people who grew up with this season, but I don't know. I feel like those kinds of people would be happy for any of the Yes 5 girls getting together with their squirrel boyfriends, but Saki, it's like, I don't know. Is anyone interested in this? Is anyone interested in her marrying some man?
If anything, it feels like something for one-offs. Characters who are just there for a one-off.
Yeah, I don't know. The Splash Star angle of this show doesn't feel like it's something that anyone was really gunning for. It's like, I can imagine that someone really wanted to write a sequel season for Yes 5 and had some ideas for it. But then it feels like they went to the meeting and one of the people in the boardroom said, oh, and we should also add Splash Star. And they went, oh yeah, okay.
Well, thank you all for joining us on another episode of Café Lily. Maybe next time we don't have to think about Otona Precure. But let's not forget, it inspires. And it inspired an interesting premise for Nakishamai Toxic Yuri.
My head is like in my hands. I can't do this.
Thank you all for joining. See you next time in Cafe Lily. Now you could put up the antenna sign.
I'll put it up. See you next year.